Yeah. Good evening and welcome to another fantastic episode of AUSHAMMER. Here we are at episode 6. I'm Brinley, or the real Bryn Shady. Here's my co-host Ryan. Ryan, give us a shout out.
What's crack-a-lackin'? What is crack-a-lackin', everybody?
It's been a big week. Shout out to all of our subscribers. What are we at now? Like 71 or something?
Yeah, we're trying to get to that 100 mark, man.
Yeah, man, we're trying to hit that 100. If you like and subscribe, much appreciated. If you're listening with us live now, again, much appreciated. Good to have you guys with us and trolling us in the chat.
For sure.
I'm definitely real. Despite recent comments, we were having someone plugged us on a Facebook site, and apparently I'm just a rogue virus on Ryan's computer.
I can see how they could get that though. Like that to me makes sense still. So
it's the bean.
But you are real, the real Bryn Shady.
I am the real Bryn Shady. I am not a program. I am.
Yeah. Also, I'm eating cake on live cast, and I'm not even sorry. It's amazing cake.
Yeah, man. I was having a sandwich before, and the only reason I'm not eating it now is because I'm all out of sandwich.
That's pretty awesome. That's just the level of professionalism we consistently display here at AUSHAMMER.
Yeah, you can continue to believe that we're professionals, but to be honest, we're.
So what have you been up to, man?
Sitting here.
What's been going on? Fill me in.
This week, man, this last week has been hell busy because I played in Reconnaissance of Kerr over at IF, and I was absolutely busting ass to get some Tau miniatures up to tabletop standard. I think I finally decided on a list.
What is that? Is that like some weird new version of AOS or?
Get it out of here, old man.
Yeah, all right. No, that's fine. You get your 5 minutes of 40k shit out of the way, mate. Go on.
Yeah, buddy. And so I was working on all week just painting up Tau, just lots of Tau. I think I ended up doing 3 stealth teams, a proxy Darkstrider model, which is like a HQ character, so that's your hero. For all you AOS speakers out there.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much all I had to paint up, but that took a long time. Especially when I only decided on what I was going to take on Wednesday. That was probably
But that's a welcome break from painting my shitty Stormcast, surely.
Back to painting Stormcast now. So it was a nice break while it lasted, but back to blue and gold, which isn't so bad.
Some of it's going to be white and gold though, isn't it?
Yeah, some of the characters are going to be white and gold. Oh, you flick up those photos that I sent you.
Oh, fucking fine. Hang on a sec. The one of the AOS stuff.
Yeah, we'll go full Brinception on this one.
All right, give me a second.
All right.
I've just got to hide all my work off my desktop. All right. This one.
Yep, so this is my desk as of like 5 minutes ago. I took a picture of this and sent it straight to Ryan. As you can see, I've got some Dracothian Guard on the right there. And they're actually nearly completely painted. I'll show you a picture one.
I'm loving that Stormtrooper cup, but yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a cookie jar that doesn't have the cookies in it anymore.
That sounds like a bit of a crime.
Yeah, and then on the left you can see I've got those. What are they called?
Not communist space fish. They're retributors. Yeah. 2 of which are holding Star Soul maces. Basically free mortal wounds.
Yeah, so like a lot of pain for if you're playing against it.
Yeah, that's looking really good. It looks like, have you put a wash over top of these dragon chickens, have you?
Yeah, man. So everything, all the base colors there have had a wash. So the red has had that purple wash that eludes me, Leviathan purple all over it. The blue has had null oil all over it, and the gold has been hit with Reichland flesh shade. Same with the Star Soul Mace dudes and their buddies.
What do you do to bring out the details on all the edges and stuff? Like, how do you bring out the details in all the gold?
So it's basically a pretty. I just use Retributor armor, so I'll use my wet palette to thin it down a bit, and then I'll just go through and pick out the higher edges. So there's a natural level of shading between the gold, the Reichland, and then like this next layer of Retributor armor.
Okay.
Which is, I think, like it's a fast way to do it, and it looks really good on characters. I'll take the next step, and I'll actually use XV88 base, like watered down, to cut into the shade, so it looks a lot more. So there's more shadow and detail to it. So you'll probably see that on the Lord Castellian if I get around to him.
See, man, this is why I can't paint my own minis. If it's not just a matter of, oh, here's some paints, now put your marble in it and roll your marble across on the paper, I'm fucked. I can't do it.
And then use your fingers and get the star-shaped sponges out.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. That is
it. That's where we're at.
Bugger. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
There were some other photos here as well. Did you want to go and have a look at them?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. We'll throw up the picture of my towel that I took to Kerr.
That is this one here. That one there.
That one there. Yep, these ones here. So this is the force that I took. Up the front, you've got Darkstrider surrounded by Crude Hounds.
Hang on a second. Let me just see if I can lock on to me somehow. No, I can't. But okay, so for everybody there, this is Brinley's communist space fish that he's about to explain. I'm just talking so it comes up on your screen and you can have a good look for a second. Take it away, Brinley.
Yep, so on the at the top to the left, I've got, I'll just run through a list. It's just basically 3 stealth teams of 3 stealth suits, 5-man fire warrior team, Darkstrider, which is a proxy model with 4 Crude Hounds, and then some Pathfinders. Basically, I'll go into a bit later, but the tournament was really restrictive. It was really fun. This is basically the list I came up with. I did all right. I think I came 14th.
Yeah,
in the end,
that's pretty good.
I was pretty happy with it. I wasn't there to win. There were some really amazing armies there today on the day. Actually, Kurt sent a picture of his army, his Sisters of Battle that he took, so it's in the other one.
Yep, so I'm guessing that this one here is looking like slightly more feminine physiques for some of these. So
so it's like,
I'm actually quite surprised because from what I've gathered, most females don't like it when somebody else has the same haircut or wears the same dress as them. But in this photo,
it's the Imperium, bro. They're all about fitting in.
Oh, it's uniform, of course.
Yeah, it's a uniform.
Jesus, who painted this? This is really well painted as well.
Yeah,
I dig it.
This photo is actually a really crappy photo. Like, I've seen these up close, and they are fucking out of this world. Like,
who's that? What's that thing at the back there?
So
that looks amazing.
And it's an engine. Yeah, it's like this crazy, like, psycho-driven machine of just wielding death and.
It's like my mother-in-law in 40K. That's
basically cool. Like, it's your mother-in-law in 40K.
She'll never listen. That's pretty cool. That's a really cool looking army. I didn't know there was a like a female detachment or anything like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, maybe if you tore yourself away from AOS once in a while, you'd learn things.
God, no way, not never. I've also sold all of my 40K now, so all of my Primaris are gone, my Space Marines are gone, my Grey Knights are gone, everything's gone. So 40K is not a thing that's happening for me.
That's right. Best to
Yeah.
focus on one thing.
Amen to that. That's pretty cool. So this was at the tournament you were at too.
Yeah, dude. This was one of the armies that we're also playing. It's done by a guy called Kirk. Oh, let me find the last name. I don't want to fucking pronounce it wrong.
That's all right. When you're finding that name, I'm just going to bring up another photo here as well.
All right. That's by the same guy. He also does some. He's just a good painter all around. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever been unimpressed with something that's come off his hobby table.
I really like the skull that's like dangling from the banner.
Yeah, man. Oh, I love the rat that's just like chilling on his hip.
Check it out. Yeah. Oh
Having
shit, that's a really cool mini, man. That's a really, really cool mini.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Like I think it's actually really brilliant. Hold on, I've got to find out. Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry that I can't remember your name. It's been a long day.
Oh, we're gonna have to extinguish your torch right there. You're the weakest link, Brindley. Goodbye.
It's Kirk Dutton. So he did them. He's
Kirk, I'm sorry about
He's a regular.
He's an asshole.
Yeah. Just to make sure I got the last name because we've got a couple of other Kirks rolling around the place.
So also, just before we carry on, there's just a mention from Jono in the live chat that I need to paint Mo shit Brinley's cow look the business. So
yeah, I agree. My cow fucking way better.
So what you're looking at now on screen is two crutches and two other guys called David and Jamie. This was on the weekend at the Warrior Lodge. We had a massive day there. And this was some stunty goodness versus some space geckos. And man, I tell you what I learned on the weekend, right? Get this, space geckos or lizards in space have this really cool thing where they can ignore rend characteristic of -1. So if your weapon does -1 rend, that gets ignored. I don't know if that's all the time or not because I don't own this army, but that and all the teleportation shenanigans that Jamie the White Rastafarian was pulling was pretty cool. And the other thing that I thought was really good and that I really appreciated was David, who brought his dwarfs, had this really cool artillery where he's actually started making these bases that you can see in the photo for the artillery to hide behind, sort of thing, like almost like a bunker. It's really cool. It was a really good game to watch, and they're two really nice guys as well. So it was just, yeah, it was pretty awesome. So there was that, and also on, I think it was Friday night or Saturday night, I can't even remember. I went over to a friend's place, and we had a game, and I played against James, and he's from Warrior Lodge as well. Nice guy. If you can hear that in the background, that's the absolute pouring rain.
Oh man, it's actually
He brought Tomb Kings, and so he was like, "Oh yeah, let's have a game." And after I sort of spent 20 minutes admiring his army, which was awesome, by the way. It's a mean army. He proceeded to smash my face in. I took a free guild list against his Tomb Kings, and man, he smashed me. And then it was a drinking night. It was a night of drinks. I'd had a few scotches, so I woke up pretty bad in the morning. But so this is really hard to say, but I've got to admit to it here. I actually just chucked all my free guild into a box. I was like, what do I take? And somebody said, I'll just bring some free guild. So I chucked in all this free guild, And then James was like, oh, let's play my Tomb Kings. I'm like, yeah, sweet, let's do it. So I just grabbed a whole bunch of stuff off this list that I pulled out of Google or something. Now, pulling a list out of Google is like Googling your symptoms when you're sick. It's always going to say you've got something really bad when you don't. And when you Google a list without proper research, you get a bad list. So I ended up with what I thought was like a standard list for the points that we were taking, but I actually ended up taking 190 points more than what I should have. And he still smashed my face in with these Tomb Kings, and so it was pretty cool. There's actually a bat rep for it, just to further share my shame. So I've already put a link down in the comment section description for this cast tonight. So if everybody wants to have a look at some really cool battle reports and check out a really cool Tomb King's army, I think he's got like 8,000 points of the stuff all up, which is like nearing Vince levels. That's no moon. It's probably the coolest blog I've seen this week. So have a look, and my bat rep is linked down below. Well, not my bat rep, it's James's bat rep. I barely remember the night. So
yeah, I was just there getting smashed.
Yeah, I got my face smashed in.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So have you done any hobby, or have you just been getting smashed?
So these guys are becoming a thing. Thanks, John. And this little thing, that's a branch witch. So that's the beginning of the new hippie army. So I am hugging trees at the moment. Other than that, which I didn't actually even do. I didn't build them. I'll admit, I didn't build them. Yeah. That's it. That's all I got. You've got all my Stormcast. I played a few games on the weekend. I've finished building all my skeletons. I'm on to Black Knights now, and then I've got Graveguard to do. Dude, it's just I think I'm gonna offload my Nurgle army.
Yeah. Weren't you telling me you wanted to buy some those?
I need to buy more prosecutors, but I'm not going to tell you why, and we're not going to talk about why, because that's got something to do with the tournament that's coming up on the 12th of November that I don't want to talk about.
Speaking of dates and things, do you want to roll into events?
Yeah, buddy. Go nuts.
Alrighty. All right. So, a little bit's changed from last week. I mean, last week was a pretty big event. We had a couple of really big tournaments. Just going to do a quick shout out for those tournaments. So down in Ace Comics Annalee, we had Pub Hammer, which went off really well. Congratulations to Justin Rees and Aaron Fleming, who tied for first. Justin was running a Craftworld Elder list, and Aaron Fleming was running a guard tank list. And then we had Kerr that I was at. It was really exciting. We've got a lot of footage for that we're going to be editing up. Hopefully over the next week or two, we'll get something up there. We'll make it look pretty. All technology providing it does it and works and all the other stuff. But first place at the reconnaissance occur, we had James Cummings, who had a Primaris army, which was really cool. And then we had Tyler McDonald, who had a pretty decent Imperial Guard army. And then we had Mark Shaw, who took out third place and best sport. He's a really great guy. I had a couple of games with him.
So he's what's best sport?
It's voted whoever was the most enjoyable person to play against.
So not only did he whoop everybody's asses, but he made them feel good about it as well, and right up until third place.
Yeah, man, he's a great dude. He's really good to play against.
That's pretty impressive.
Bit of a practice battle report with him that may or may not go up depending on the quality of my camera work. We'll see how
I guess.
It's up the right way this time.
Fucking, it better be, mate, or I'm gonna smash you.
It's gonna be pretty bad. And then yeah, that was third place, and then best painted went to Ado with a really beautiful Yannari list with some hand painted diamonds, which was really cool. Hopefully we'll get some photos up there. Anyway, rolling into events, Malkavat, 21st of October, they've got Open War. It's a 40k tournament. Check their place out for details. I'm just going to plug it. On the 28th of October, they've got an Age of Sigmar Armies on Parade Day. Chermside has got the same Armies on Parade event, but they've got nothing happening for 40k at the moment. I think both of them are going to be releasing events for Shadespire, as are all Games Workshops. Shadespire is going to be big. Warrior Lodge, 12th of November, this Age of Sigmar event that myself and Ryan are both going to be going to. Should be exciting.
Should be exciting. Okay, well, James is taking that Tomb Kings list that smashed my face in, or as it's just been so eloquently put in the comments, my anus got stretched so far you could fit the Gotkin up there. So that army will be. Yeah. I'm just going to smash out a list so I can find something. Sorry, just thought I'd put that in there.
Anyway, and then on the 26th of November, Warrior Lodge is going to be doing their 40k event. Both will be held at the Clanger Tavern. It's good to go, good to have a drink, good to roll some dice. Should be fun. Northern Knights, nothing's really updated there. Basically, they've got the same bolt action event that's going to be crack-a-lackin' with them. That's sometime in November. I think it's the 4th of November.
Yeah.
Ace Comic and Games, nothing out of them. Irresistible Force, 28th of October. They've got an X-Wing Australian National Tournament, which is pretty big for them.
Oh, I saw a game of that the other day too. That's really cool. If you can make it down to Irresistible Force for that, make it down. That's a bloody awesome game.
Yeah, I'm actually really keen to check it out. And then they've also got an upcoming 40k event. It's going to be a doubles event in October, November. It's going to be doubles. It's going to be it's to be announced. So just watch their site, check it out. It should be really fun. They've done some great tournaments. I've enjoyed being there. Where are we at? We've got right. So moving on from Queensland. Moving down, we've got the Mensa Open. That's going to be another huge event. So that's Melbourne's premier 8th edition gaming event. It's on the 21st, over the 21st and the 22nd, so that should be really good. Check it out, Mensa Open 2017. It's going to be pretty big, second only to CanCon, which is oh man, we've been lucky enough to talk to Clint Mallett, who is the guy who's running the Age of Sigmar component for CanCon. So the tournament's called Path to Glory, and like, man, it's looking to be like 80 people big. It's going to be huge.
And that's just Age of Sigmar. So then you add 40k, and yeah, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, they've got 40k, and 40k is going to bring even more people because 40k is going to be running the ITC Australian Championships for the South.
If you can make it down there, make it down there. We're going to have some mates that are down there. Michael from Doom and Darkness will be down there with a couple of his guys as well. That's going to be a major event. That's going to be something that everybody should aim to go to. 100% worth the trip, worth it.
It's gonna be absolutely massive. Yeah, Clint, we got some really cool chance to chat with him and just talk to him about the event organization. It sounds like it's going to be absolutely amazing to have that many people rolling dice.
Yeah,
he's a very experienced tournament organizer. I don't think there could be anyone who would take this job more seriously, or hands that would be safer in holding such a prestigious event.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Australia, like CanCon's, that's the big GT.
Yeah, we don't have it. We don't have a Adepticon. We don't have GTs. For those of you who are listening from overseas, like CanCon's it for us. It's a huge event.
There's a few other minor ones, but CanCon's definitely the biggest. It's it's awesome. It's our Adepticon.
we've mentioned the other one, the men's are open. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
So that's pretty huge. Yeah. So definitely check out CanCon. If you play Age of Sigmar, hit up Path to Glory. If you played 40k, seriously start looking at that meta now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I mean, it's Australian Championships. Like it's gonna be big. We're looking forward to seeing the results for that. Remember, it's 2018. That's going to be in 2018, not this year. So, but you got heaps of time, so nothing to worry about. And we're going to be plugging it until it happens, and then we're going to be talking about it for like fucking weeks. So,
yeah,
definitely, it's going to be really good. All right, so moving on from CanCon down in, so we're going to move. Okay, so also in Canberra, we have 3D6 the store. They're running on the 20th of October. They're running Hastitude Knights Renegade tournament, which is 30k, 40k. It's kind of like custom house rules sort of thing. But they also have a Battlefleet Gothic campaign day, which is, for those of you who don't know, Battlefleet Gothic was a game that was released in the early 90s. Really, really fun game, and involved 40k space battles. So it's like X-Wing, before X-Wing with bigger ships. So I guess X-Wing Armada or something. I'm not really up to date, but that's going to be really exciting. And then down over in Sydney, we've got the Coalition of Filth, which is a campaign that's going to be run through the Age of Sigmar, Warhammer Age of Sigmar group. Sorry, guys. And that's on the 21st of October. And then Parramatta, we've got Games Cube running Ashes of Pyre 30k narrative campaign on the 28th of October. And then the only other one is Bendigo Apocalypse, which is going to be on the 3rd of November. It's a gigantic 40k apocalypse game. Check out their page. It's just Bendigo Apocalypse. So, like, yeah, you can work it out. See if we can throw a link in there. They're on Facebook. It's just a big, massive event. I think you got 300 power to play with on the few things. So that's what's that, like 5,000, 3,000 points or something? I can't remember. But it's going to be massive. It's going to be really exciting. I can't wait to see it go down. It's going to be huge. There's going to be lots of pictures. People seem to have a blast. It ran last year. People loved it. But yeah, other than that, that is. Let me just double check my. Yeah, man, there's plenty going on. Not as much as last week. This weekend's going to be pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Unless some more events pop up between now and this weekend. But like I said, we had a really big weekend last weekend. We had the Age of Sigmar tournament at Games Workshop, Mount Cravat, and then we had Pub Hammer, and then we also had Reconnaissance of Kerr, and then we had a couple of other tournaments, and so that was pretty big last weekend. So it was really good seeing so many people at Irresistible Force on Saturday. We had 42 on the books, and we had 38 rock up. That was really, really exciting. I had so much fun that day. Oh man, big weekend.
That sounds like a massive one. I guess then also look out in the future. Coming soon will be some more tutorials from Brindley. But also, we are now looking into battle reports. The reason we haven't released any yet, I was asked about some earlier in the day, is because we want to do it a little bit differently, with a bit of a flair, and give you guys something different to watch. So most people know battle reports are a dime a dozen. There's the internet saturated with it. So we just figured if we're going to do something, might as well try to do it a little bit differently. That's just how we roll. So we're going to be doing that as well. But as you can see, there's a lot going on here in Australia. And if anybody out there has got any other events or anything that you want plugged, or anything coming up that you'd like us to know about or discuss, or just something that you might want to talk about with us, even get hold of myself or Brinley. We're easy to find. Drop a comment. We monitor the comments of our videos and stuff as well, and get in touch with us. We'd really like to hear from you and find out what's going on in our community here in Australia.
Yeah, we can only promote as much as people tell us about.
Correct.
I spend about an hour, 2 hours on a Friday night just chasing different events around Australia.
That's what to do on a Friday night.
Yeah, I've got nothing to do on a Friday night other than paint, Stormcast, and chase events. But that's just that list that I just said. That's just from stuff that people have told me about, stuff that people have sent in. The more stuff you guys send in, the more I can talk about stuff, and we're all about promoting the local community. So hit us up. Yeah, it should be good.
Heck yeah! All right, man. So what are we talking about tonight?
Basically, so last week we did preparing for a tournament. And so this week, I'm gonna just go into like playing at a tournament, like just going over like some of the really obvious stuff, like the quick tips that when you're playing, how to make how to make your day more enjoyable, because like it's a big day. Like tournaments are huge. You put so much effort into preparing for it, and so much effort into painting miniatures, and like you take like a month, like this last podcast I was talking about. We have like you spend a month getting ready for a tournament. Think about it pretty consistently. Allowing it to like consume your hobby time, and then you get there and it's a big day. Like you've already invested a lot into it. It's pretty massive. So what I want to go over tonight, kind of like some of the things that I found make my time at tournaments a little bit easier. I've been doing tournaments for a while now. No 2-day events, no like big 3-day weekend sort of things, but definitely very, very familiar with talking about single-day events. So let's try and cover it as I go. Ryan, if you've got anything you want to throw in, just go for
my
it.
2 cents. So here's okay. Well, can I throw 2 cents in now then?
Yeah, man.
Okay. My opinion of tournaments are that they are not the be all and end all of your hobby. Tournaments are a small part of what we do, and what the community does as well. So there's a lot more to it. There's some people prefer just the painting and the building. Some people prefer just to play at home or at a club and things like that. So the tournaments aren't the be all and end all. But as far as the community goes, it's a really important part of the hobby, because you're testing yourself, you're testing your skills, and you're testing your army and what you've built and how you see it playing. It's the best way to test yourself against people within the community that are like-minded and can sort of take the hobby slightly more seriously for that tournament. And it's a really good way of learning your army. So if you haven't done a tournament, like myself, I haven't been to any GTs. I've just done small tournaments. I need to get to one. And I think everybody should at least try one, because it really is a great way of expanding your hobby horizons, and taking it to the next level. So if you want a challenge, which really is what the game's all about, challenge yourself, because it's just going to get boring if you don't. Get your ass to a bloody tournament, and listen to what Brinley has to say tonight, because it's good shit.
Yeah, man, I'm 100% behind that. Like, by all means, tournaments are not the be all and end all of your event, and like you have to remember, you're going into it, it's very, very different from friendly, games with your mates and your kitchen table. It's a very competitive environment, and people really bring their competitiveness to the table with their lists or with their mindset. Basically, tournaments are one of those few places where being ultra competitive is quite acceptable. Obviously, there are points and limitations on how you can, on how competitive you can get. I mean, no one likes a cheat, that's for sure. It's definitely not something that we condone at all. Even to a point, rule bending is pretty rude. But all right, so we'll just basically go from the start. So following on from the last podcast, right? So you've had a good night's sleep, all your stuff's packed, your transport's been organized, and you've arrived successfully at your tournament. So a big tip is to arrive about an hour to like half hour to an hour earlier. Like sometimes that's a really big stretch, but I'm going to be honest, having that extra time to do what I call is just basically quiet time before a tournament. It allows you to get there. You're not in a rush. You can take it easy. You're able to slowly watch people as they come to the tournament. You're able to scout out the location a little bit better. You'll be able to be like, oh, I'm here at the store now. There's actually, no toilets or something, but there are toilets over here. That's something you don't have to worry about later. Same thing with like food. Let's say the food joint that you usually go to is closed and you need to go somewhere else. You've got a better idea, and that's not something you're having to worry about in that hour that you get for your lunch. Going on. And the other benefit about getting there early is that you're able to pick a good spot to stick your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, a lot of us go to tournaments, we're carrying cases, we've got bags, we've got books, and what you actually take to a tournament is actually pretty limited. Like, I'm just going to pick up my web camera and we'll go for a bit of a walk over to
just when you're picking that up, get there early, but don't fucking speed like a dickhead. 2 reasons. 1, you might kill yourself or somebody else. And 2, like me, if you haven't magnetized all of your stuff and it rolls around in your box, it's all going to break and you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. So when I'm at my tournament, this is all I take with me.
What is that?
I've got my book. So it's just basically a container I picked up from Mitre 10, and I stuck some miniature foam in there.
For those of you watching in America, if you don't have Mitre 10, it's a hardware store.
Yeah, like Walmart or something.
I don't know what they've got there, like, Walmart or some shit.
Yeah, and so for like a small tournament, this is perfect. So obviously, I mean, for larger tournaments, you've got like try and take a tray or something that you can carry. You can unpack and pack your army up onto. We probably do a display of that in another video. And then for like all the accoutrements, like your tape measures, like I've got a really small tape measure. It's not a GW one, but it saves space. I just picked that up from Super Cheap, which is a hobby store. And then in here, like this is just a zip bag. I've got all my dice. I've got my data cards. I've got extra dice for like markers and crap. Like so, I mean, obviously take as much dice as you need to take, but there's like 2 lots.
Well, and because Brinley's a dirty space communist fish people player, he's got a lot of dice for all of his Fire Warrior shitty shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah, like heaps of dice for marker lights and. Try and bring different dice. Like you don't need heaps. Don't go crazy. I use blue dice for marker lights and a pen, but it all fits in here, which is just like a little bag I picked up from a camping store, and then that all just goes in here with the miniatures, and then I can just take that from table to table, and there's no issue. Like Ryanception. But yeah, like that's what I take with me. Like I've got a bag and I've got some other stuff, and I'll take like a water bottle, which is pretty good. But that's what I take from table to table, and that makes my job a lot easier instead of having to pack everything back into a container or like a big hobby box, and then move it to the next table, and then do that again, and unpack it, and then when I get cleared off the table, pack it back up again.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. So you get there early. You're able to have all your stuff set up. You've got a place to keep your bags and stuff, like, because it gets really, really crowded really quickly. Like, if you're in a store and there's 36 other people playing, you kind of want to be able to find a secure spot to stick your gear. And if you can find a nice area that's kind of like out of the road, but you can still see your stuff, that's really good. It also gives you a chance to see the tables that are set up, see how they're set up, to familiarize yourself with what table is what number, because obviously you'll be playing against an opponent at a certain table number. That's how we run it. And so you can be like, yep, I know where that table is. That's the Deptus Mechanicus Forge one, or I'm going to go to the one with the Necron terrain, or I'm going to play, the one with the Age of Sigmar Hellgate castle things, or wherever you're familiar with the terrain, you're familiar with the tables that are going to be there. So when your name gets called, you can get to that table quickly. You can shake hands with your opponent. You're not fussing around. You're not messing around. You can just get there. It also gives you a chance to like set up your stuff. If there are any last minute breakages on your way to the tournament, you can fix it. Or if let's say you've got 9 stealth suits and you happen to forget to paint around the rim of them, you've got that a little bit extra time to whip around with a bit of paint. That's another thing. Just make sure, obviously, you'll take everything with you, because I told you last video too. That includes touch-up paints if you're playing in big tournaments that involve paint scoring. Stuff gets knocked around. Metal models are pretty bad for it. You'll probably lose paint off them at some point.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, tell me about it. I took where is he? This bastard right here. Okay, this little bastard here, man. All right, he's chipped more paint off plastic models than anything else, and I've only taken him with me twice. He's some little metal chaos sorcerer thing. Bastard of a thing. I agree, 100%. Approve that message.
Yeah, so that's another. Just take paint. Get there early. All right, so you're there early. People are starting to rock up. You'll say hi to your mates, or if you don't have friends like us, you'll talk to your buddy on fucking Messenger because you're a social outcast and you have social issues.
We all have special issues.
That's why we play this. We're all a bit special. But you get there early. You're able to see people roll in. You're able to, get a pretty good gauge of the people you're sort of playing, and then you're not rushing for time. It's you're eager to start the tournament. You're not nervous. You're not rushed. You'll be able to go into your first game with a clear head and a really good mindset, because you've had a good night's sleep and you're well hydrated. And you're not hungover, Mikey, wherever you are.
Or me.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry, James, again.
So getting drunk.
I've got to fucking start. You make it sound like I do it all the time. It was my Friday. I was enjoying my Friday night. All right. What? Don't judge me.
What? 1 or 2 drinks?
7 or 8 scotches.
9 or 10.
Shut up. Moving on.
Anyway, right. So you're there early. You're able to see it goes. Right. So what's going to happen is basically the tournament organizer is going to hand out a tournament pack. Because you're early, you're going to be able to read it, and you'll be able to get a forward knowledge on what your first missions are and what sort of play that you're going to be expecting. Just having that little bit of extra time to think about it will really help you in your first game. Right. So you're at a tournament. You're going to be playing somewhere between 4 to 6 games. That's going to be pretty big, depending on the side of the tournament. Like you're going to be there from about 8:30 till about 4:35. So that's a big day. So between rounds, make sure you're keeping your fluids up and you're keeping your food intake up. Don't go absolutely with your energy drinks and just sugar-filled food, because you're going to do great for the first 2 rounds, but then you're just going to crash because your body's just not going to be able to deal with it anymore. And trust me, I've tried it and it hasn't worked. And the best way to do it is to have lots of water, and then to remember how your body burns energy. You need a fair amount of carbohydrates, but not fatty carbohydrates. So when it comes to that break, don't go to Macca's. Go to, somewhere that sells some sort of wholesome food. I usually go for a Mexican place because they've usually got kidney beans, black rice, nachos, because nachos are awesome. And you can usually have a pretty healthy option of what to eat. Don't go down to fucking.
So I take it we're not telling people here to take apples and fucking muesli bars.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Look, take apples and muesli bars as well. Look, if you don't want to eat out and don't want to spend money, which is perfectly fine. I've done it before. Pack your lunch beforehand. Take something healthy. Take something decent. Take some stuff you can snack on. Keep that energy level up, and you'll find that you'll be able to keep going throughout the entire day. Right, so you're playing your games, and during your games, you need to remember you're there to have fun, okay? So if you've bought a really whack list, then by all means, go nuts. But if you bought something that you look forward, enjoy playing, remember, you're not going to win every single round, but just because you're not going to get that major victory or that minor victory, you can still score a lot of points. So because you're there early and you've read the players pack, you've got a good idea of what your objectives are, especially your secondary and tertiary objectives. If you can't get the primary objective, which might be slay the warlord or like kill the leader or something, whatever it is in Age of Sigmar, you can still achieve your secondary objectives, which will still give you points towards the end of it. Also remember that even if you're losing, don't get wound up with it. I used to be a really, really bad loser, and I mean, some people probably still think I am.
Used to be.
Shut up. But
no, you are a very good sportsman, I must actually say. You've never beaten me in the game of Age of Sigmar, and you always you're always very polite and happy. I think it's just you just enjoy the game. You don't really care. Yeah, just you threw dice, so you're happy.
Yeah, it's a big thing for me. But like even when I'm getting like absolutely smashed, and you guys can do this too. If you're getting yourself really smashed and you find yourself getting wound up and you're starting to get a bit negative, instead of flipping a table board, a really cool thing I found to do is to actually have a chat with your opponent about your paint scheme, or just engage them in a conversation that's hobby related but not game related, because that's perfectly fine. And if they're not a total dick, they'll probably have a chat with you as well, and that'll get you that'll be a bit of a break from like that really tense mindset of trying to what am I going to do next, how am I going to do this, what am I going to do. So that's something that I've found that really, really helps. And then you can be like, oh, all right, whose turn is it, and then you can get back into it, and then it's not as serious, and it's a hobby, but we take this hobby pretty seriously.
Some more than others.
Yeah, look, no one likes seeing their army getting absolutely smeared. It's pretty human. It's human condition to react to that way when we see something that we enjoy and put time into getting, obliterated, or not getting that sort of emotional return on an army that we've just painted or something. And so it's understandable, but have a chat with your opponent, just take a breath, chill out. It's not the end of the world. You're there rolling dice. It's just it's literally first world problems.
Don't be a dick. There's a Facebook page called Age of Sigmar fans, and one of the rules on their page is the Will Wheaton rule, which I really like. It basically you can disagree with somebody, or you can not like something, but disagree respectfully. So there's lots of ways to do that. Basically, if you're the age where you're able to speak without the assistance of somebody else, you're able to disagree with them respectfully. So definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to be a dick about it, and especially when it comes to when you're having an argument about rules.
Yeah, 100%, yes.
This is really hard to approach, especially in a competitive environment. Like if you're being respectful and you're being polite to this person about a certain disagreement you're having about rules, like let's say you don't believe that their model can move this far because of X, Y, and Z, but they're like, no, it can because X, Y, Z, and like it's something that's bothering you. Like if it's something that's giving them a very, very clear advantage and you're not entirely sure that's something about it, it's perfectly fine to call over a judge. In fact, it's fine to call over a judge at any point during a tournament. That's not disrespectful to your opponent at all, because you're there competing for something, and so you have as much of a right to understand what they're doing as they are. And if they can't provide an adequate explanation that you agree with, then you can talk to a judge about it. And that goes for you as well. Like you can't just be like, yeah, my fire warriors are firing 5 shots each. Opponent to go, how is that even possible? And you're like, no, it's in the rules. That's not acceptable. Okay?
No, you got to have your shit there to be able to show it.
Yeah, you have to be able to bring it out. You have to be able to show it. You have to be able to explain it. You have to be able to do it. And you have to be able to bring a judge. If it's something like really, really trivial, like, I can't remember if my scouts moved, if I moved my scouts 6 inches or 8 inches during like a certain phase, and your opponent's like, oh, I don't remember either. You can flip a coin. Like, all right, if I win the toss, they move 8 inches. If you win the toss, you move 6 inches. That's also perfectly fine. Like this can be as much of a gentleman's game or a ladies' game as we want it to be, but that has to come down to people being willing to communicate. And when you're there, the best way to do this is to know your army really well. You don't need to know their army, but as long as you know your army really well, you're less likely to encounter problems. And like I would honestly advise doing that. I go to a tournament and I have full faith in the person that I'm playing that they will do right by me because they know how their army works. Because
and also it's more polite as well, yeah, to know what you're talking about before you go in there, because it avoids being a we were discussing this earlier today. What's that gamer type that where they just fucking take forever to do anything?
Oh, a delay game.
Game. Don't
Yeah.
be that guy.
Yeah, that's the delay gamer is one of those unfortunate people that you will see. There are many names for them. Most of them are unable to be said on family-friendly YouTube channels, and most of
Shit,
the
are we
words.
family friendly? We've been going about this all wrong.
Oh, we're not. I mean, there are some pretty foul descriptors you can use to describe a person who is a delay gamer. For those who don't know, who have the fortune of never encountering a person who's a delay gamer. It's a person who deliberately takes more time than they should to pull a game out. And for people who are at tournaments when you're on a time limit, that's really important. Like let's say they've done a really, really good turn 1 shooting, and they've absolutely decimated you, and you're having to move up, and for some reason, let's say there's 5 minutes on the clock, this person's going to delay. They're going to take more time, like exponentially longer in their turns. So you've got a lot less time to do anything in yours if you want to keep pace with the turns that are occurring. And it's frustrating, but you can call a judge and you can have a talk to the TO. But it's just tricky. That's one of those things that it's not illegal, because it's really hard to prove. Like a person's might be just a really slow player, and we have to accommodate to that. But like you can, I've seen people who I've seen play really, really fast, but then they come into the certain circumstance, and it's like, look, it's as bad as cheating. Like a delay gamer is in the same bracket as cheaters, in my opinion. It's getting a very, very unfair advantage, and it's just being an absolute dick about it.
So basically, if you're a delay gamer, feel free to drop your name into the comments so we can contact you, and maybe you can explain to us the benefits of being a dick. Moving on.
Yeah, so that's just one of the people you'll come across. But look, as long as you're polite and as long as you're friendly with most of the people that you encounter during your tournament, you're going to have a good time. Basic etiquette: shake hands beforehand, agree on dice rolls, run through what you're doing with your models as you're doing it. Don't just start rolling dice and then wait for them to ask you what you're doing. Like, be like, oh, I'm rolling my charge now, and they'll be like, okay, this is what I got, and then you measure it, and then and they'll be like, okay, these are how many attacks I get. This is what I'm hitting on, so they know as well what you're looking for. Okay, so like that's courtesy to them. So if I was playing my warriors, I'd be like, all right, so I'm rolling on 3s, re-rolling fails because there's a war shrine next to me, and because my chosen killed a unit in the last turn, I'll be re-rolling all 2 wounds as well, and I wound on 3. And then allow your opponent to understand that, and then as you're going, do it again. Like, be like, okay, here's my charge. Okay, here are X amount of attacks because there are X amount of warriors. I'll be hitting on this, and I'll be re-rolling the fails because of the shrine. Shake your dice, do that. Work out how many attacks you got, and then be like, okay, I'm going to be re-rolling. I'm going to be rolling my wounds now. I'm looking for 3s, and I'll be re-rolling fails because my chosen killed a unit in this turn, and then keep going. That's a courtesy, and that's the same thing for saves and throws. Okay, because and don't be one of those people who just roll dice and then straight away just pick them up again. If you have an opponent that's doing that, it's perfectly fine to be like, whoa, hold on, man. I just want to just take it a bit slower. I just want to see what's going on. And that's fine as well.
It's not. You're not saying I don't trust you. You're just saying be polite enough for me to let me see the dice that you're rolling as well, because mistakes happen, and you might catch something that they accidentally missed. It's not always just oh, you're a bit of a dodgy prick. So do you mind slowing down so I can see all your shit?
Yeah, especially if they're using like different colored, like the Gemini dice where they're like 2 colors and they've got like a different color dot. Some people have a hard time distinguishing the colors. I've got a mate who's colorblind, and he has a bit of a hard time with dice sometimes, especially if they're those fancy Chessex dice, which are fantastic dice, by the way, but he just requires a bit more time, and that's a courtesy thing that I do for him. Makes it a bit easier.
Yeah,
but that's just to watch out for, and that's perfectly fine to ask them to do that. So you've had your first game, you've actually played a couple of games, you're starting to move up or down the rankings, and you're having a good time in general, right? You hit that halfway point and you're at lunch, right? So you've played somewhere between 2 to 3 games. You're off to have lunch. So carrying on the advice I gave you before, you've either packed your own lunch or you're going to go have something to eat with your mates or by yourself, depending on your level of, social awkwardness. So try to avoid filling up on really fatty foods. You'll probably be really craving sugar by about this point, especially if you haven't been staying hydrated and if you haven't been snacking as you play, which is kind of hard. Like, people forget about it. You get really absorbed in the game and you just want to smash it out. You just want to do it, and you actually forget about eating and drinking, and it's a bit of a problem. But like, you're gonna hit lunch, you're gonna be craving sugar, so try to avoid that. Just find somewhere that's gonna have something healthy. I go to Nando's here in Australia. They're pretty good. I don't get paid to say that. I wish I did. Get some free nachos.
I love some free nachos.
Please give us some. Please give us free food. I will wear a giant nacho costume if you give me free nachos every tournament.
Mate, if that works out, I'm plugging Tim Tams for fucking days.
Oh, buddy, let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so just grab something healthy, grab some food, don't overindulge. Like, obviously, take all this advice with a grain of salt. I'm not your friggin' boss, but...
Or are you?
Or am I? Or are you actually all working for us? Or do we pay these
Yeah.
people? I wish we had some sort of revenue. Um,
Yeah, it's called a day job, buddy. That's why I keep telling you not to give it up.
Yeah, I've got to. Yeah, definitely not going to give it up anytime soon. So you've had your lunch. You're feeling good. You've avoided the coffee. You're staying hydrated. You're now into your next lot of tournaments. Basically, if you followed all these steps, you're going to be doing a lot better than your opponent. They're not going to be thinking as clearly as you. You're going to have it one up on them. You've been following your objectives. You've been smashing out. You've been remember to be polite and shaking hands. Done a few more games. You're at the end of the day, and they're announcing prizes. You have or haven't got a prize, and at the end of the day, you've had a great day, and you feel good for it. Like, you're going to be a bit tired. It's going to be exhausting. But at the end of the tournament, if you follow my tips, like it's gonna be you're gonna have a good day. Like, you might not win, but that's not what it's all about. Like, there's only gonna be one winner. There's gonna be only one winner, and unless you bring a really, really serious list to a tournament, it's probably not gonna be you. Like, I'll be honest, I think best sport and best painted are held a lot higher in regard than winning first place. Because the person who wins best sport, to me, that person is a top person. Like, they're a top gamer. And then the person who's won best painted, mate, you have put in those hours. You have put in those hours to get your miniatures to that standard. And, like, congratulations. The dude who won first, like, he's literally just spent a couple of hours doing really well and getting really lucky. But
yeah, dice rolls do play a part of it, but you've still got to give credit where credit's due. When you know your army, and you know how to use table control and blah 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 blah, then there's still
yeah. I'm not discounting first at all. I just think best sport and best painted are.
I'd much prefer to play against somebody who's winning as best sport rather than somebody who's constantly winning first place, just because I know I'm probably going to have more of an enjoyable casual game with them.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and I think that's something to look for. I think that's a big part of the tournament scene. But look, those are all my tips for tournament play. We've got much going on in the live chat.
Let's have a look, skis.
Skis.
So first up, I've already said hey to Jono, who's been giving me shit all night. Hey to Matt, who's joined us. And also hi to the Legion of Wargaming guys who have jumped on as well.
Oh, wicked. That's awesome.
And Harrison, who's also said hi.
Yeah, well, we did a Legion of Wargamers. They've got their event at the Good Games Kalanga. Should be a big meetup. They've usually got a couple of tables going, and they have a bit of fun. Nice lads, definitely.
Yeah, actually, they're just talking about it now as well. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, so go hit that up. If you're in the local area, they're not too bad. Definitely have a couple of games with them.
I think last time when they were just doing Magic or something, card game.
Yeah,
I don't know how they play it. They do a bit of everything there or something. So.
Just a card games, Dragons. So, but it's good when they got their guys there playing war games. We're all about wargaming here. Be good to see them. They're just up the road from us, so we might drop in.
Maybe not me. If I get any sicker than I am today, I probably won't be around much longer.
Yeah,
I will have flipped this mortal coil.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to help me talk smack about Ryan in his eulogy, like, hey, hit me up, hey.
I'm putting it in my will that you come to my fucking funeral dressed as like either a giant banana or a sex toy.
Fuck yeah, sex toy it is.
Yeah. Thought as much. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. You're going to have a giant sex toy talking smack about you at your funeral. Can't wait.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Isaac, who's just reminding me of the 120 handgunners that I've got that probably still won't beat a bloody Tomb King's army after what I've seen on Friday. So
yeah, well, Tomb Kings
it's a busy night.
Make me sad.
Yeah. There was something else as well. We've mentioned the battle reports that are coming up. We've mentioned the tutorials that are going to be coming out as well. apologies, there is a bit of a delay. I have a busted graphics card on my computer. So once we get that sorted, we will be up and at 'em again. And also we need to perfect our bat reps first, which is involving quite a few other people. We want to try and involve the community in our battle reports as well, not just couple of beers at my place. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We'll probably do those too. Also, if you like what Brinley's brought out tonight to give you all, like us, subscribe to the channel. We're pushing this content out weekly. It's probably going to be more than that soon as well. So there is a lot. Show some support and get involved with the community. So we've mentioned a few Facebook pages tonight. Seriously, go to those Facebook pages. There's some fucking awesome people there. There's some awesome pages, and there's some really cool stuff. And it's also a great place for finding inspiration. People post a lot of their own minis up there and stuff like that, and it can help with color scheme ideas and stuff like that. So check them out, and yeah,
man, that's pretty much us. As we said, we're having a little bit of delay on content because of a busted graphics card, and same thing goes for the tournament that I filmed, Irresistible Force. We're gonna be putting that up as soon as we can. Same with the tutorials. It should be good. That's all that's really holding us back. This is episode 6. We've been, we're slowly getting better. We're slowly learning the ropes of this. We're making friends in the community. I'm apparently still an AI, but these things happen. It's the Matrix and all. But yeah, this is
the real Bryn Shady.
Bryn Shady, yeah, man. The Bryn Shady program.
Oh, that's the best. I need to get a T-shirt for you, mate.
Just says Bryn Shady.
Yeah, that's it.
It should be good.
All right, man. We done. We good for the night, yeah?
Yeah, man. I think that's pretty good. That's an hour. I'm pretty happy with that. I've had a big day. I'm ready to go to bed.
Do you
want me to take us out?
You go nuts, buddy. You go nuts.
Yeah. All right. So, AUSHAMMER episode 6. That was what you guys just listened to. Thank you for joining us. We love having people live. How many people do we have live?
13.
Wicked. So we had whatever that number was that won't be disclosed again at a later date. For joining us, we appreciate it. We love having you guys in the chat. We love you when you heckle us and send us random crap. We love the pictures that you send to us, and hit us up with your events and other details. We love promoting the local community. I'm Bryn Shady. That's Ryan. And thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe. Catch you guys next week.
Bye.